Yeah. This is close.
Hi, Roni.
Hi, how you doing? Can you hear
Good.
me?
How are you?
Okay, I'm actually in my car today. I'm in the city, so I'm sure my screen is much smaller than usual. And it's horrible parking out here. They've ruined the city. It's not even funny anymore.
I'm
There's no,
sorry you have to be in the city today. That's just terrible.
yeah, there's no more parking in Manhattan. This is crazy.
Oh,
It's completely crazy. But anyway, you gotta do what you gotta do.
I don't even drive to our own city, San Francisco, like because of that kind of stuff. I take the train. Train is amazing.
Yeah, but from Long Island to the city, it's like 2 hours and a half. So if I'm
Oh,
gonna
no, no.
do that, if I'm
That's
gonna
not
do that,
true.
I might as well be comfortable in my car.
Yeah. Yeah.
listening to a podcast or
Yeah.
No,
There's a
no,
lot
no,
of
no.
stuff you can catch up on doing.
Yeah, but not actually after this, there's a football game I have to watch, so I'll be okay.
oh.
I'm watching a Champions League game, Arsenal against PSG, so I'll be fine.
What is that, soccer?
Yeah.
Yes, I'm sorry,
Okay.
but I call it football.
I
Forgive me.
know.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
just like I'm like, okay, it's Tuesday, and who's playing? Okay.
I know, Ronnie,
No,
I'll have
no.
to introduce you to my husband. He's a big football
Yeah,
fan
I-
too.
for the
So
rest of us, call it football.
something's going
Do
on.
you know Harry Heisman? He lives on Long Island.
Um,
He used to be out here in California.
no. Okay, no, name doesn't sound
That was a
familiar.
long time ago. Yep. Life in the big cities. Not. Yeah, I don't go up to San Francisco anymore. Ugh.
Yeah, but it's all commercial now, and since most people who live in the city don't drive, so they really don't care.
Yeah.
You know, it's not that much fun. I used to enjoy going to the city, not anymore.
Hmm.
So I'm
We
gonna say
pray
hi
that
to
this is-
Cindy, and I'm gonna say hi to Shelly and Susan. Oh, Susan, you're right there. I said I'm Miss I found a picture of her too. I can't remember her name on Romper Room. Remember Romper Room, everybody?
Miss Marianne.
Miss Marianne on Romper Room. Hi,
Hi.
Shelly.
Good morning, everybody. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Where are you coming? Where are you sitting today? Where are you coming in at?
I'm in San Jose.
Okay, me too.
Neighbors.
Me three.
Yep. Ta-da.
Ta-da.
Ta-da. And we have Mitch here. We have Valerie here. We have Marilyn here. Barbara's going to be here in a second. So we're going to get started here in about a minute. And
We pray for God
let's
to be glorified. B'Shem Shua.
Katie?
Yes, Julie. You want me to put on mute? I'll put on mute.
Yeah, that would be good.
Well, you do have a lovely voice. I really
Thank you. Shut up now, okay? You have a lovely voice. Can you shut up now? I'm trying to do that. Okay, let me see here.
Bottom left.
All right, everybody. We're going to get started. We're so happy to have Jeanette and Susan here. They're going to tell us all about Second Harvest Food Bank today. I'm very familiar with Second Harvest Food Bank because they are in my community. So, and those of you who are not in our local communities, you probably have something similar in your community. They'll be able to tell you all about that. So good morning, Jeanette and Susan. Go ahead.
Good morning, everyone. How's everyone doing? Lovely Tuesday. Here in California, we've been having a really weird weather. So today is just a beautiful day. So if you are in San Jose area or Silicon Valley, just going out for a walk today before we get that rain again or that weird
It
weather.
is gorgeous today. We're so
Yes.
spoiled.
All right. So thank you again for having us here today. I'll introduce myself and then I'll let Susan introduce herself and just share a little bit of what she does and how she is involved with Second Harvest. So my name is Jeanette Brambila. I'm the Community Engagement Officer with Second Harvest of Silicon Valley, and I work closely with a lot of the schools, a lot of social clubs, and just volunteers in general. Encourage them to come to Second Harvest or any other food bank and volunteer or give back in any other way. And I'll pass it over to Susan. Susan, you can just literally give your name and how you're involved with Second Harvest.
Okay, that will be very easy. My name's Susan Silver. I live here in Sunnyvale, which is pretty much in the heart of the area that Second Harvest serves. And I had been a donor for many years. Now I am a very involved volunteer.
Thank you so much, Susan. Wonderful. So, like Susan, we do have a lot of volunteers at Second Harvest. Without their work, we wouldn't be able to make this happen. And today, my goal is, I would say different things, but the two main ones is encourage you to volunteer either with us or at a local nonprofit around your area. And also think about also how monetary you can support that organization. There's been a lot of shift, a lot of change within Second Harvest of Silicon Valley in particular, but I believe there's also other changes that are happening throughout the whole nationwide in the US. So I'll go a little bit more into that a little bit later. Let me go ahead and I think I'm sharing my screen, right?
Yes.
It could say okay,
Yes.
networking. Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
I'm just talking and I don't realize I'm not sharing my screen. Okay, so this is just our agenda for today. I'm going to talk about our mission, some of our partnerships here in the area, and also mention some how you can get involved in your area and a really great resource that you can look up, and then volunteer opportunities, and then our call to action. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. So we've been actually in the works of ending hunger for now. It's 51 years now. This is a little bit of an old slide, but it hasn't been updated. So it's now 51 years. And what we like to share is that, yes, we know that for, 51 years, we have been battling this food insecurity. However, because of our great partnership and the amazing people that we have in Silicon Valley, in both San Mateo and Santa Clara counties, those are the areas that we actually service. We've been able to still provide and give food to our neighbors. So we are currently serving 500,000 people in both what I call San Mateo and Santa Clara counties. Those numbers actually doubled since the pre-pandemic. We were serving only 250,000. So you can see the big shift and the big impact that the pandemic hit on our community. We do live, like Susan mentioned, in the heart, Silicon Valley, Second Harvest. We are servicing and we are the heart also of the tech, right? We are growing. Homes are selling now for, I would say in my plate, because I can't afford any of them, but really high prices. And these high prices, a lot of our clients that we have, unfortunately, they're not able to meet that, that demand on the housing market as well. So a lot of these folks that we have are, folks that are living on a fixed income. A lot of our seniors, that's who we mainly service. A lot of our families working multiple jobs. So they are working, but the income does not match the way that we are actually increasing in our income as well. And feel free to put any questions in chat, or you can also unmute yourself as well. So for all the families that do come to Second Harvest, something amazing is that they're able to save at least $200 when they do participate in our food program. So that is $200 that they don't have to worry, or they don't have to make those hard choices between, buying medicine, rent. So that is a big relief on our end, and that is actually our mission and what we are focused on, to making sure that anyone who's living in these both counties, they have access to healthy and nutritious meals. All right, so let's go. Who are we servicing? So I mentioned already 500,000 people, but out of those 500,000 people, we 1 in 3 kids are food insecure. And these are just some of the locations that you might see some of these kids. So we have what we call our California Food for All. And just, I believe that was 2 years ago now, we started providing free meals for all the students who were or who do attend public schools. And this is actually a big win. As a child, when I was growing up, I grew up in California, in Sunnyvale as well. And we had what we called our free reduced lunch. Sorry, our free reduced lunch. So some of us had to pay a portion depending on our parents' income. And believe it or not, we do have surveys where students did share, and there is videos also on our YouTube channel if you would like to see this, but we did have parents and students sharing that sometimes it would be shameful for them to, let the kitchen staff know, hey, I don't have 50 cents or I don't have 25 cents to pay for, for my lunch. So we wanted to make sure that was a relief, right? We don't want kids being hungry during school. It's hard to even focus, even for us adults. So this was a big win with the support of our elected officials. We were able now, all schools have free lunch. So this is amazing. Again, public schools in California. The next one, you'll see a lot of the places that we're at also are community colleges, 13 of them. And then also we provide free food for affordable housing as well sites. And again, 135,000 kids we serve every single month. All right, the next one, and this is actually a big number. When I do these presentations live, I usually have folks stand up, and you can see it just hits, it hits home. So 1 in 6 of our neighbors are actually food insecure here in Silicon Valley. So this is a big number. I would say this is to me, it's very sad knowing that, someone in this room, I think there's maybe 10 of us that I saw. So at least one person in this room might be food insecure, and we don't know it because in reality, there's not really a face to food insecurity. We have we have sometimes a vision of how someone might look like, maybe, someone that is houseless or someone that maybe has like ripped up clothes, or is on the streets, right? With the sign asking for food. But in reality is that individuals like yourselves and I might be food insecure, or we probably weren't secure growing up in our households. So this is a really big number. And some of the reasons, again, they're listed on here, but we have the high levels of income. We have income, which also ties into housing. We have insufficient government funding from our food programs. And I'll go a little bit into that a little bit later and how government funding has impacted our organization. And then we have inflation, of course, the high cost of food, fuel, and rent prices. Right now, a home, I believe, to rent a 2-bedroom or even a 3-bedroom, you're seeing around, and if I'm wrong, please correct me, but I've been seeing anywhere from like 3,000 to 4,000. And some of these families, there's multiple people living in one household. One example I'm just gonna say is my aunt. She lives in a 4-bedroom and she's renting out every single room to make sure that she's able to provide food for her family. They're a family of 5 with 3 young kids. So people are living in, really squish places to be able to survive, I would say. And a lot of these families that we actually are providing assistance to, they were already, in this situation even before the pandemic. And now that we're, I would say, post-pandemic, they don't see this, they're still kind of playing the catch-up game. So it's really sad. And again, we're here, and this is, this is one of the ways that we're able to support and relieve that anxiety on their end. Okay, and here's just some surveys that we from our clients. I'm not gonna go into each one of them because you can also look on the screen and read it, but one of the ones that actually did hit home for me at least was the one that's 50%, where it says our families are actually worried about paying their next month's rent or mortgage. So this actually brings a lot of anxiety. And as a personal, I would say, I mean, I was 18, 20 years old, but I remember my parents during the recession. There was that time where a lot of folks lost their home. And this is actually, I was talking with my dad, and I was asking him, hey, how did you make it work? And he's like, you know what? He's like, I made sure that, you as kids didn't know that we were struggling, but I was literally using my credit cards to buy groceries because I didn't know like how I was going to be able to make it. And, sadly, yes, they did lose their home, but they, as kids, they didn't want to show us that. But this is still the reality for a lot of our families. And then you can go ahead and read like the rest of the survey questions as well. And these are actually from our own clients. I'm gonna pause. Anything that's sticking out to anyone in this room? You can unmute yourself if you like.
You know how large the survey was for this slide you have? How many,
How large the survey was?
how many people respond?
So I don't know how many responded, but it was given to the total number of people that we serve. So the 500,000 people.
Oh,
See, did I go to the right one? Okay, yes. Okay, so moving on to, I'm going to say shifting a little bit to a different, now that I talked about the impacts and the clients that we're serving. Now, the other big question that we get is, hey, you're a nonprofit. How do you get all this food? How are you able to provide all of this free food, right? So we actually have amazing partnerships, and we also have a big team, and we rescue a lot of our food. So we have partnerships with a lot of grocery stores as well, and this is where we get that from. We also get a large of our donations from we get funding from Feeding America, and Susan will put that link on in chat. So Feeding America is nationwide. I know that some of us here are in, I believe, New York, I heard earlier. So that link that Susan will put in chat, you can put your zip code and you can find the nearest food bank near you, and how you can support and what kind of work they're doing. So
Okay.
we get a lot of funding. We also get, let me go to the next slide. I'm sorry, which here it shows. Okay, so this is where we actually get our food. So again, a lot of it is through our farmers and our families. We get a portion of it again from Feeding America, and then other part of it is food rescue. So we see 60%. We also get food donated, which is a small portion now. And I'll go into that a little bit later, why we are actually shifting from receiving food versus money. And then we also, our partnerships with the grocery rescue, that's actually where we have partnerships with grocery stores. We're able to pick up those items for free. And actually a bill was just passed, SB 1383. You can look that up. And this just says that stores, I believe it's more than 240 stores. We pick up food from them every single week. And let's see. Yeah, so we pick up food from them every single week. That's to prevent a lot of our food waste. The other one is, so from, let's see. Okay. No, I believe that is it. Any questions on this particular slide? Okay, yeah, so a lot of it is food rescue. We do purchase some as well on our own. But yeah, we have honestly really great partnerships with a lot of organizations around us. Okay, let's see. I feel like I'm missing something. Food rescue. let's see, I went grocery, donated, Feed America. Okay. Another thing I didn't mention on here, but it's our food waste. If we do get items that we're not able to give out to our clients or food that is sorted when it arrives to our warehouse, which is why we have our main warehouse where we sort a lot of the food, that food is not actually thrown away. It's reused. It's given to one of our partners called Mission Trails, and they actually convert that into compost. And we also have great connections with our farmers that are local. A percentage is very low. It's about 2.3%. So it's basically nothing, I would say. And okay, so food rescue, we touched on food rescue. So now once we get the food, how do we get that to our clients? And I talked a little bit about it earlier, but these are some of the locations that you will find us. Again, in other states, it might be the same. There's different partnerships everywhere. I would say food banks are not able to do the work by themselves because a lot of it is through volunteer base. So we have to build those partnerships. So this is where you might find a lot of the food. So if you ever go to like a church, a faith community, a senior home, and you see that there's free food given out, most likely it's coming from a food bank or from Second Harvest. And then let me move on to the next one. That also goes with soup kitchens. So here in San Jose or in Santa Clara County, one of the main facilities that comes up to my mind right now is Martha's Kitchen. So Martha's Kitchen actually receives food from us, and they are able to cook those items on site.
Do any of the Meals on Wheels programs get your food?
Oh, yes, that's another one. Exactly. That's another one. Thank
Mhm.
you. Yeah, you see, there's so many. There's more than 400 partners that I can't recall all of them. Okay, so these are just I'm listing some of the locations that we are associated with. So before folks jumped into the meeting, I was mentioning that we have one of our partners is Catholic Charities. So that's why I mentioned them here as well. We also have Sacred Heart, which is in San Jose, and a lot of the boys and girls clubs as well, and Live Moves as well. Something awesome about our food distributions is that pre-pandemic, we actually had only 3. Moving towards during the pandemic, we ended up having 133 distribution sites.
Wow.
Yeah, drive-through. And but in total we have more than 900, which is why you're seeing the big map right here with all the green spots. That's where we're all located. So now, something that we did see during the pandemic as well was that we had actually a lot of food waste. And that is because a lot of these boxes were pre-packed. So there were about 20 to 25 pounds in these boxes. And, clients couldn't get out their cars. They couldn't look through the boxes and give them back due to a lot of like safety regulations. So they were taken home and then folks would either, they would decide what to do with them. So that was a lot of food waste that we got from our surveys. So now moving into what we call our farmers market style. This was actually a partnership as well and ideas, right? Client surveys, knowing that they were wasting food. But our nutrition department was actually does an incredible job of going to distribution sites and actually sharing what you can cook with the items that are inside those boxes. And I believe they're still hosting a lot of food demos. And Susan, right here in our room, one of our volunteers and donors, she's actually part of the health ambassadors. And I'll let her share a little bit about it right when I'm done with this slide. So here's just sharing the amount of ambassadors actually that we have throughout both of the counties. And again, they help out, share resources, share how to cook healthy and nutritious items with the items that are provided through Second Harvest for free. And Susan, if you could just briefly share, why you wanted to become a health ambassador and what do you like about it so far?
Well, what I like about it most of all is that I love Second Harvest. And I became involved with it many, many years ago. I was a single parent raising 2 boys on my own. We didn't have a lot, but I was always able to feed my children, keep a roof over their heads, buy clothing for them. And it made me sad to hear that there were so many people in our community that weren't able to do that. I was an educator and I would see some of the children coming to school without enough to eat or without warm clothes. So I began donating as I was able to do. It wasn't a lot there in the beginning. And then when I retired from full-time work, I decided I wanted to get involved helping at Second Harvest. So I started out in the warehouse that Jeanette mentioned, just packing boxes of food. Those boxes of food then would be taken out to one of the 400 distribution points. And I thought, well, that'd be interesting to see what happens out there. So that was where I shifted a lot of my volunteer energy for quite a while. It was out at the distribution sites because I got to say hello to the clients. They'd come driving through in their cars or their pickup trucks, and they were happy to be there getting food. We were happy to give it to them. It was just a nice, warm feeling. When Second Harvest went to more of the farmers market style, clients were able to come and choose the items of food that they wanted. So I've done a lot of that out there as well, being out there in the farmers market approach. I was invited then to become a part of the Speakers Bureau. What we do as Speakers Bureau members are, well, something like I'm doing today, coming and just talking with people about Second Harvest and what we do. But we often will go to community events, fairs. You'll see the table there with Second Harvest Food Bank. And we're able to talk to people not only about how they can become involved as donors or volunteers, but also if they are people who are in need of food, or if they know who people who are, we're able to direct them to those resources, as well as to our website, which is a very good one. It has all kinds of resources, including recipes, which takes me to my final involvement area with Second Harvest. And as Jeanette mentioned, there are health ambassadors, we are called. Back in the day when the boxes were being given to people, they would open them up and see things they weren't familiar with. So here would be a bulb of fennel. And first of all, what is this fennel? And secondly, what do I do with fennel? Well, it's the health ambassadors that would go out and do cooking demonstrations at the pickup sites. And if there was something a little unusual or odd or puzzling, we would do food demonstrations to teach them how to cook it. We would serve them little samples. It came to be almost a social activity at some of the senior residences that we go to and other places. So we also are trying to get young people involved with us as part of the Speakers Bureau. I will often go to schools, talk with the students there because many of them need social service hours before they graduate. So we get them in. A good place for them to volunteer is out at the warehouse. They can come with their friends. They can have a good time while doing something that will warm their hearts and do good for people. So I love Second Harvest. I encourage you to find out more about it and become involved if you feel that that's something that you would enjoy.
Well said, beautiful, Susan. Thank you so much. Those are really kind words. And these are the, I would say, majority, or I would say a lot of our volunteers, this is what they share with us. We're currently celebrating our Volunteer Appreciation Month. And this is what we get from our volunteers all the time. We love our mission. We love what you do. We feel valued at Second Harvest. And that is why they continue returning. And that is our main that is our main goal, because without our volunteers we wouldn't be able to do any of the work that is happening. And this takes me to our next slide, which actually shares the impact of, if we were to hire all these volunteers that are making this work happen, this is how much we would actually need in money, 8.6 million, and we would need more than 46,000 volunteers. So thank you to all our volunteers. I always like to say this, even if you're not volunteering with us, but do know that we definitely appreciate our volunteers a lot. So they do bring a lot back. They definitely do support Second Harvest a lot. Okay, so now the next one is our funding, and this, I believe we're almost done with the presentation. Julie, am I good on time? Okay, perfect. All right, so the
Yeah,
next
we're
one,
good.
Okay, thank you, Julie. The next part goes into our funding. So where do we get all our money? So believe it or not, a lot of it is through our individual donors. And I think I mentioned this to Susan when we barely had like our initial conversations, but pre before coming to Second Harvest and working, I thought a lot of it was actually government. But it's not, it's our donors. And this just shows the big impact. And you can reflect and you can see, okay, so volunteers are the ones also supporting, but our donors are also the ones who are making this happen. So 68% of it is through our individuals donors, so people like you and I. The rest of it does come from foundations, organizations, government as well, and corporations. Corporations would be Facebook, Google, and then foundations, organizations might be organizations like yourselves. And let's see if I'm missing anything. Any questions? Okay.
That's right, this is get a guide.
Carol, I can't hear you. Or was that an accident?
Keep going.
I think it was an accident, right? Okay.
Yeah, she just had something on in the background.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so I did mention that I was going to just share briefly how the new administration government is affecting our food donation, right? Our food funding. So yes, it has actually, it is affecting and it will affect Second Harvest. So this upcoming year, we are seeing that we're going to lose about $1 million of food. So that is 638 pounds of, food value. And we're $1 million is a lot. It's a lot of people that we still have to feed. Hunger doesn't end, so our work has to continue. And this is why we're actually we're finding other ways of receiving that funding. So we're going out again, as Susan mentioned, we go out to different locations, to events, just to raise awareness of how different nonprofits are being impacted, but more in particular, how Second Harvest is being impacted. And this is I would say this is something I would say really sad, because in reality, we are kind of like the main, we're under us, there's a lot of people. So we're the main umbrella, right? So if we're impacted, all these other organizations that we're partnering with, that also means that they might not have enough food that's coming from Second Harvest. So that's just something that I wanted to share briefly. Yes, we are being impacted, and this is how much money we are going to need to fundraise starting next year. All right, and how can you get involved? So how can you get involved? So Susan mentioned you can either volunteer or you can donate. For every dollar that we actually get that's donated to Second Harvest, we're able to provide enough meals for two. So, and that is because we're able to buy a lot of our food in bulk, and we have all these great partnerships where we're able to buy stuff like at a low cost, right? Versus if individual like yourselves or I, we would go to a grocery stores, we don't get those deals. So Second Harvest does get those deals, and so that is what $1 does. The other way that you can get involved and you can make an impact in any other location as well is through volunteering. And I do have a video that I want to share, but I do want to also share the different types of volunteer opportunities. One of them is at our warehouse. So there you would help package and sort our food. So again, make sure that we give out the best quality of food going out to our clients. And then the other one is working at our distribution sites, as Susan mentioned. So, having that one-on-one with our clients, building those great partnerships, connections with our clients and with other volunteers, and just helping provide that food. So let me go ahead and share a video. And I believe I'm going to stop sharing because I don't think I press the audio. So 1 second. There's sound. Okay, and here we go.
Hello, thank you for your interest in volunteering with Second Harvest of Silicon Valley. My name is Cindy and I'm part of the volunteer engagement team. One of the main volunteer opportunities available is distributing food within the community. This is a crucial volunteer role that ensures anyone who needs a healthy meal can get one. There are two main types of distribution sites, drive-through and farmers market. In this video, we'll be illustrating a farmers market style distribution site. Distribution sites are outdoors, so be sure to dress for the weather. Closed-toed shoes are required, and we strongly recommend bringing water. When you first arrive at a distribution site, check in with the site leader. Site leaders will identify themselves. After checking in, a site leader will delegate different role assignments to volunteers. The first role a volunteer could be assigned to is client registration. Activities include checking in clients using paper or tablets for necessary information. Volunteers need strong communication and interpersonal skills, as well as the ability to stand and walk for extended periods. The next role we have is a food distributor. As clients approach the stations, volunteers are assisting them with the food selections available. This role may require heavy lifting up to 25 pounds. At a farmer's market style distribution, clients have the opportunity to choose what food items they would like to receive. Once all clients have been helped, site leaders will direct volunteers to break down stations and clean up. Sign up to volunteer today. We hope to see you there. Bye!
Thank you for watching.
Okay. Any questions? I did see some in chat, so let me. Oh, where are you? Right here.
Does anybody have any questions?
I
I
do
learned a
have it
lot.
Yes.
said-
Actually, could you
Okay.
go back to the slide? Hi, this is Linlin, and thank you so much for your presentation, Jeanette. Would you be able to go back to your slide with your contact information, please?
Oh, of course, yes.
Thank you so much.
I believe it's right here. And let's see, there was another question, and it says, do you have proof that the administration has cut your funding? I had a nonprofit and never got government funding. We raise our own funds. Our administrators paid for their nonprofit work. So yes, we do have proof. It's also, I believe, on our website. But Kathy, I can go ahead and send you that information as well. Are you one of our, do you volunteer with us?
No, I volunteer with other organizations, church organizations, where they hand out food to the homeless.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can definitely share that, and it should be on our website as well.
Oh, okay, good. Thank you so much. And thanks for what you're doing. I appreciate it.
Oh, thank you. And this is a great question. Yeah, there's been a lot of conversation on that specific topic, you know, a lot of funding being cut from different organizations or different entities. So yeah.
So, which California, the state of California, which government resources supports Second Harvest from the state of California?
Oh, sorry. Could you go back to that slide? Sorry, I'm pretty slow putting in things.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. I'll put, you know what? I'll put in my information as well in the chat.
Okay, I know. I know you get them on your newsletters, but it's like time-wise, if I could just
Let
get
me
it in
go ahead
there.
and put it in chat.
Do you guys help with housing of any sort?
So great question. We don't specifically us help with housing, however, our partners do. So as I mentioned, so Sacred Heart, which is in San Jose, they actually help with housing, and we
Yeah,
help with the
yeah, they're
food.
really
So we
good.
all have like different missions, but we
Yeah.
all work together.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. And Julie, your question. Oh, I forgot your question.
So
Sorry.
no, the support that you get, do you have any or support connection with the state of California?
Do we have any support from the state of California?
Yeah.
So yes, we do, and that is part of the government funding. I don't know specifically like where we get the money. So Second Harvest does get the money, and then our own organization decides where to use where is best to use that money. So one example is we just had the whole egg shortage, right? So folks did offer, and we do obviously have the money to buy the food, but we had to shift and figure out what was the best use of our money. So we decided to remove the eggs, but still give protein, which was the chicken and the beans. So we get the money and we just decide where it's best, where we can best use it. So we're still able to meet those nutritional facts as well.
So, and within your organization, you probably have a liaison that works with all government, local and state and federal.
Correct. Yes, we do. So we have our advocacy and strategy team, and that is with Tracy Weatherby's team. And I can also put that on the link. I actually have it open because I figured this was going to be asked. So
Well, we want to get to the right people.
yes, yes. So our strategy and advocacy team has been doing an incredible job with a lot of connecting with elected officials, one of them I mentioned during the presentation was the Food for All in California. And then the other one that I mentioned was the California Universal Meals Program, which that was for the kids. And then we have, if you look through the website, you can see other projects they're working on, and how you can also get involved is that's part of this link as well.
That's good to know. That's good. I'll review that. I'm going to Sacramento tomorrow. Just
Oh,
see.
oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So a
nice.
bunch of us realtors are going to Sacramento tomorrow. We're
Oh,
having a big
wonderful.
discussion. So I'll tell you all about it later.
Yeah, wonderful. So yeah, you can definitely I'll also put her information on here. But yeah, Tracy's team is wonderful. They're always doing something. So something to benefit our community.
Come over here, Bob.
So if someone needs food, how do they get help?
How do they get help? Great. Yeah, I didn't cover that through my presentation. Sorry. If an individual needs food, all they have to do is visit one of our more than 900 distribution sites. They visit, all they do is give the total number of people that live in their household, and then they're able to receive the food for free. Some locations do ask for your phone number, maybe address, just to make sure that you're going to the closest site to you. And also in case they need to inform you if a site is closed. Let's see. Yeah, so that we don't ask for any income, any immigration status, gender, anything. Like, it's all free. Another thing that we started seeing since the new administration is that some people are afraid of picking up for themselves. So then we have neighbors that are actually picking up for multiple people around them.
Okay.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
anyone is able to actually come. So, if you yourself are in, a really hard situation, don't be shy. If you know anyone, maybe a neighbor, maybe someone that is, homebound and they're not able to buy food, or they're on a fixed income, please give them more information. You can, I'll put the phone number as well. You can call our hotline, and our food connection team will actually connect them to the nearest site to them, or they will also connect them if they do need homebound or delivery services.
Okay, great. Wow, wonderful.
So you're
Yeah.
saying you can provide the home delivery service? Or do you farm that out like Meals on Wheels or so forth?
So how it works is we did have a big program during the pandemic because we saw the need and because we had the funding. Now that a lot, we're shifting and we're trying different things. We're actually pivoting and creating more partnerships with other partners who are actually, who have the bandwidth to do that work. So what we would do is most likely connect you with one of our partners here in San Mateo and Santa Clara counties, and then they would do the intake process to see, if that individual does qualify or is eligible to provide homebound services.
Okay, Bob, you have a question?
Yeah, two separate kind of question directions. I'm sorry I missed part of your presentation, so you may have already asked these. So the grocery stores like Safeway and when they have their old produce, do they give that product to you, or what do they do with it? Or is that a different element? I've heard also sometimes some of the restaurants our conventions move some of their food over for kitchens to just use for food. So give me an update on that.
Yeah, so we try it. Actually, we don't take any of, that bad food. We want to make sure the food that we're giving out is, we
So
can
the
eat.
Safeways and the Trader Joe's, their old stuff, what do they do with it?
So those stores, and specifically, yes, they do donate to us. That's part of our food rescue program. However, when we do take those items, we make sure that they still meet the I think it's the eat by date or use by
Yeah,
date.
they have a turnover on, they have an inventory turnover. It's not always expired.
Yeah.
So they turn over before expirations.
Yeah.
And then they have a system made up so that they deliver all of the turnover inventory to Second Harvest and similar.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, and also to add to that, Julie, how it also works is, so I would say we're one agency. So our partners, what they do is they actually, we create those partnerships between, I'm just gonna say a name, but let's say Loaves and Fishes, because they have been coming up a
Yeah,
lot.
yeah.
So let's say we create that partnership, right? So then we give Trader Joe's the contact to Loaves and Fishes. So Ronnie, I'm just gonna say Ronnie is the contact to Loaves and Fishes. So Ronnie can go every single week and pick up food from Trader Joe's, and then he brings that back, and they use those items for their clients. So
Yeah.
that's usually how it works. So yeah, we just built the partnership, the connection, and then our partners are the ones who pick up and figure out if the food is well to use, or if so they look at all of that.
You mentioned a little bit about the economics of some of the customers. And there's a group of people I didn't realize, I was running into a few that were house rich but cash poor. They may be, their single biggest asset may be their home, but they don't have the income. And some of the programs, they couldn't qualify because they were homeowners. But they're ranging towards poorness, but they don't want to have to sell that $1 million asset to be able to qualify for different things, but they couldn't qualify because, you have to, even though they're not making much money, but they're stuck. So what's your thought on that, Pat? What is that a real problem? How is it dealt with?
So it's a real problem, and I'm going through it. I'm a homeowner, and I don't qualify for any what we call our food stamps, Medi-Cal, all these government or federal support. So my thought on that is, one, that it's not fair, but that's the law. That's how it works. However, what I am happy about is that we do have organizations like Second Harvest that, look beyond that. They look beyond that situation, and they are still here to provide that food. So yes, I don't think it's fair, but that's what's being, let's say.
I mean, it just seems like no one wants to help the middle class, or they want you to get so poor that you're almost in destitute, as opposed to trying to help you. And that doesn't seem quite right to me.
Right.
Well,
Yeah,
I think you had mentioned earlier that you don't have inquiries about the status of the family that you're helping. You don't have any inquiries about their income levels or anything like that. You just are there. You're just there to be a resource.
Exactly. Yeah.
There's no qualifications. Like, we do have programs that do have qualification tables, but I think what Jeanette
And that's what
mentioned
Benefit refers,
earlier,
yeah.
they don't have that. You don't have to adhere to a certain qualification status.
Right.
Is that
And
correct?
yeah, you're correct. And like you mentioned, oh, sorry, I didn't get your name, sir.
Bob.
I'm Bob.
Bob,
This is
Bob, like
Bob.
you mentioned, some, like all these programs and laws are implemented, they forget about the middle class, but in reality is that we're also, struggling.
Right.
We don't want to sell our home.
I'm a financial advisor. I had a client of mine, just to give you an example. She took my advice. She got some education. She improved her income. She said, Bob, I got good news, bad news. I increased my income by $18,000 this year. I gave her an applause. She says, yeah, but Bob, I lost my subsidy at PG&E. I lost my subsidy on my road. So I'm actually spending $24,000 more money than I would. So I should have stayed poor. And there's something wrong with that.
Yeah. I agree,
Yeah.
Bob. I agree. Yeah, but again, I'm thankful that there's organizations like Second Harvest that don't look at your income. And that is the reasons why we have them, because, anyone can be struggling, anyone can be going through the same situation. So just having Second Harvest here, at least for my family, now we're a family of 3, this definitely, saving $200 is $200 that we
Yeah,
can put towards gas. So
yeah.
I'm very relieved. And Second Harvest also does let our employees actually take food as well if we do need it. So very thankful for the organization. And I'm very thankful that other people that are going through the same situation that are homeowners don't have to worry, or, don't have to worry about going somewhere and being denied of food, because, food is needed. It's a human right. So
Well, and so we work with senior homeowners and the families of senior homeowners, and they are in many instances what we call house rich and cash poor.
yeah.
And another element that we deal with is they don't say anything about
Right.
anything.
Yeah.
And so what we strive to do as senior real estate specialists and also certified senior advisors, part of our other service, is to be able to know and learn and recognize situations and then have resources to offer for solutions. And Second Harvest is such a good resource for this, because you are not a qualification based
Right.
resource. It's
Right.
for everybody. You could live in, Saratoga in a big freaking house,
Yeah.
but still be food insecure for one reason or another. And Second Harvest is still there to as a resource. So
Correct.
am I correct?
Yeah, correct. Yeah, and that's why I was mentioning earlier, there's no face to food insecurity. We don't know if
Yeah,
someone in this room could be going, well, I already said that I was, but
yeah,
we don't know if somebody else is in this room could be going through the same situation.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So are there any faith-based organizations that you align with? I mean, besides Sacred Heart
Loaves and fishes.
yeah, Loaves and Fishes.
Yeah, so we have I'll name some, so because I heard that we have a bunch of people, or we have 2 in San Jose. We have a lot. A lot of the congregational churches. We have Our Lady of Refuge is one, that's a Catholic one. Believe Congregational of Redwood City is one down in San Mateo County. We have Latter-day Saints of Jesus Christ, I believe that's the whole name. They have a
Yeah.
long title.
Yeah.
It's the
So
Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
There's big primary presidents, so
Yeah, there's a lot. Yeah, they're a big organization. So a lot of those sites actually offer that. We have let's see, oh my God, there's so many. I would have to actually look. So I believe Susan went ahead and put on, oh yeah, volunteering. She put the website. Again, you can look, you can filter it in, and you can put your zip code, and it'll send you to all the nearby sites, and you can see on there all the Catholic, or sorry, all the religious based organizations that we have connections with. So yeah, we have more than 900, so it's really hard for me to remember all of them. But yeah, those are 2 of the main ones that I know.
So I have another question. So have you yourself, or maybe Susan, worked with any local realtor association members, or have meetings such as this one with your local realtor associations?
So no, this is actually my first time.
Okay.
Yeah.
So have you ever talked to any realtors, you guys? Okay.
No. No, this is my first time. I see Susan nodding as well.
I've talked to other realtor organizations, but not about Second Harvest in particular, but other
Oh,
things.
okay. Great. Good to know, because part of what we're doing here as seniors real estate specialists is that, yes, we are realtors, but we are seniors real estate specialists. We are unique and different. We do have a much more encompassing service to the senior homeowner and the families of senior homeowners. And part of what we do is bring resources such as Second Harvest to our clients, our families, our friends. So, and introducing what we do to members of the community like yourselves is something we get excited about as well, because it is kind of a new thing, what we do as seniors real estate specialists. So I'm really excited about that. And I learned so much today about Second Harvest. It's been, you know, it's a staple in our community. It's always been, I've lived here my whole life, so I've always known about it. But now I learned about the more the warehouse and things and the farmers market situation. And which is great, because now when I talk to family, friends, clients, you know, I'll just have that much more knowledge. So if I hear a conversation and I hear a little something, I'm like, oh, well, that might be a resource for you. And that's what we endeavor to do as well, is to be a resource for our clients. So does anybody have any more questions? Lynn, you got something to say? I know you do.
I do. The volunteers, so I am the stake primary president for our church, as I mentioned before, and we are always looking for service opportunities for our children. So I wanted to see volunteer age. Is there a minimum age?
Susan, do you want to try tackling that one?
I will try. Teenagers are permitted to come on their own, and a lot of high school students do that in groups for their volunteer service hours. I believe the children have to be 11, don't they? And if they're between 11 and 14, they need an adult with them. Is that right?
12.
12. Okay.
Yeah, 12. Yeah, really close. Yeah, it's 12.
Okay, so
But
12.
everything else was correct.
12 is the minimum age then.
Correct.
Okay, then that would be actually the youth, because I'm in charge of the primary, so I go up until 11, and when they're 12, they go to the youth. So, but I can pass on the information. And where do I go? Who would be the person to contact for?
You can actually contact me if you have
for
any
volunteers.
Yeah, you can contact me as well, or I also put the Susan put the link in chat as well, either or, but I can also support.
Okay, okay, so just email you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Another thing I want to add with that, for the 11 and I would say 5, yeah, we don't want to go a little bit lower because it might be dangerous, safety wise at the warehouse. But we do offer tours of our facility and also in class presentations. So Susan was mentioning through the Speakers Bureau, we actually do go out to schools and do either like a tabling event, share resources about Second Harvest, or we do presentations where we talk about, you know, how they can, you know, how can they get involved at such a young age. It kind of like prepares them as well, you know, to look forward to something in the future. So yeah, so definitely tours. We just had, I believe last month, I think we had like some 8, 9-year-olds. And believe me, they love the warehouse there and really excited to come back when they meet the age requirement, which is 12.
Okay, so you do tours.
Yeah.
Okay, and then oh, I'm sorry, your title there? I'm putting you in here.
My title? Community Engagement Officer.
Okay, thank you. So Second Harvest Community Engagement Officer. Okay.
Correct.
Thank you.
Hey, John, did you have a question?
No, I don't. I'm sorry. I had a meeting go way
No
late.
worries.
I've only been on about 10 minutes.
No worries, no worries. We're
You can
recording.
You
so-
can watch the recording.
Yeah, I
we
was
recorded,
wondering-
so you're safe.
And thank you. I am on to another meeting. I appreciate Jeanette and
Yeah,
Julie as
thank
always
you.
organizing
Thank
these
you so
wonderful.
much.
Thank you,
Okay, have a
Lynn
great day.
Lynn.
Of course, you guys all have a great.
Thank you
Okay.
too. I went ahead and I also put the hotline for people that do need food. There's the number and also the website. And again, you can
Awesome.
call, yeah, you can call and we have multiple languages, so language doesn't matter. We have it.
Excellent presentation. My church, I worked at Emmanuel Baptist Church for many years, and we were I think they still are connected. I'm not working there anymore, but I think they still are connected with Second Harvest, and did excellent during the pandemic. They had the whole car thing, and yeah, we did. So I'm very, very, very familiar.
Thank you, Shelley. Thank you.
Yeah,
We're grateful for.
great organization. And I happen to live right down the street from the First Street. I live off of First Street also. So I drive
Oh,
by you guys every day.
oh,
Do you work in that,
nice.
are you in that building?
I am in that building, yeah, and soon
Okay.
I will be, well, a couple of years will be next to Top Golf, so
Okay. I'm
you'll be
still in
seeing
the
us there.
neighborhood. Still in the
Yeah.
neighborhood. All right. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Shelley.
So yeah, you have probably do you have some corporate collaborations as well?
We do have some corporate collaborations. We there's a lot of them as well. So some of them that I can think from the top of my head are Intuitive Surgical. We have Abbott. We have Applied Materials, a big partner of us, Apple. Of course, Apple would have to be one. Let's see.
Keller
Johnson and
Williams.
Johnson.
Valerie's saying Keller Williams. Do you guys took? Yeah,
Keller Williams. Yes, yes,
Uh-huh.
Keller Williams as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we have a lot. If you do visit our warehouse I invite you as well. If you do want a warehouse. If you want to visit of our warehouse, you can also come and we have what we call our t-shirt wall. And we have all the different organizations, foundations that actually support our mission.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And we'll be happy to put up your shirt as well or your logo up there.
Well, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Senior,
Yeah.
our SRES.
Yeah.
Exactly. Or score. We'll go. We'll go. All righty, everybody. Anybody have any more questions?
No, I'm good.
Information and go ahead, Roni.
No. I said I'm good. I am familiar with a lot of the food banks. Her organization, I wasn't that much familiar with it, but I did do a lot of work. But your idea about the interplay between that and senior real estate specialist is actually a very good idea. I don't know why I never thought of it because I have, gone to a few showings where, there are clearly certain signs that the person, although they're looking into selling it, but, they could use some additional help. So that is definitely something I'm going to keep on the back of my head moving forward because that seems to be helpful.
Yes, I agree.
Well, I have a few things to wrap up here with. First of all, I mentioned last week that we're needing somebody to head the Parkinson's event that they're having in May. And so far, nobody's stepped forward. I was going to try to corner Lin on it, but she's gone. And we
It's
need somebody to lead us up.
May 17th at
May.
at Lake Cunningham Park. It's a walkathon or something like that.
Well, it's like the Alzheimer's Association walk. They have events and sponsors and so forth. It starts at 9 a.m., but we do need somebody. I was thinking we could have like a team SRES or somebody to represent us so that we can get some visibility in who we are and what we do, while at the same time giving back to the community. And actually, we're asking them to be one of our Tuesday meetings, and it's kind of hard to ask them to do something if if we're not going to help them. So it would look good if we could get something to put together on that, and I'm hoping somebody might step forward. So anybody on the call right now that might be interested?
I'll put more information about it in the bulletin for the event on that day. And there was,
Secondly,
yeah,
Thank you for my hearing.
secondly, I'm doing a survey here. I've got a friend of mine that has her own small business. She actually makes custom socks, and you can put logos on the socks or whatever you want. She's got maybe a lot of sport teams and various corporations and stuff like that. And I was thinking, well, maybe it might be interesting if you guys could get socks with the logos of the your real estate office, or maybe even like sold signs or something like that. Is there any interest there in doing something like that that we might be able to get her to work with us to get socks with real estate logos? Anybody interested?
weren't you saying, cause the gal's name is what again? Linda?
No, Lisa Riggs.
Lisa, yeah.
Riggs.
She's a realtor and a SRES, right?
No, she's not.
I thought she was.
Lisa is not. No, definitely not. She's got her
okay.
own business, and that's all there is. No, she's not. Has nothing to do with real estate. So,
That she came from that. I'll review that, but we'll put that in the bulletin as well. You should have.
all right. So anybody might be interested in getting socks with their logos or anything? I got to report back to her and see if we can get any traction on it. Nobody? All right. Well, that's
All righty. Thank you so much, Jeanette and Susan. Thank you so much. We really appreciate your time, your presentation. It was amazing. We'll have you back
And
again.
next week,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.
next week, we're going to be joined by Avanitas, and this is a very unique senior community, and you'll definitely want to pay attention to that. And it's like nothing you've ever seen. So don't forget to tune in for that.
Will do.
All righty, everybody. Thank you so much for being here today. We'll see you on the computer, and we'll see everybody next week. Next week, who are we having next week? Skip.
Are you asleep? I just said
Did you just say that?
Avanitas.
Yeah, I was distracted. My apologies.
Yeah, you are always distracted. Avanitas is going to be on next week.
Oh yeah, I'm so excited. That's going to be so much. That's going to be a lot. That's going to be good.
What?
All right, everybody.
What's that?
Thank you so much.
Just
Go ahead, John.
Avanitas. What is that?
It's a senior community, but it's more than that. It's they've got 12 different programs. They even have a village, Avanitas Village too, but they do lots of other things, other programs. You're not going to be able to find another community anywhere in the country that does what they do. And it's very unique, but it's very, very helpful for people like us that are working with seniors. They're an excellent resource, and we want to let you guys know all about it.
They have a gorgeous facility, community facility in Palo Alto, and a lot of good resources there.
Right.
How do you spell that?
Carefully.
Wise guy.
It's Avenidas, Avanitas. And it's
Okay.
on,
Thank you.
yeah, and it's on page 1 of the bulletin.
Google it. You can see
I
what they
tried to.
are.
I tried. I didn't know how to spell it.
Nobody does. Nobody does. I even got to look it up all the time.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. All righty,
Bye.
everybody. Thank you. Have a good week.
You too. Bye bye.